So I just finished reading The Happiness Equation by Neil Parashi. And I have read this book before. Like, if you open this book up, it has a million little notes. It has tons of highlights, tons of sticky notes all throughout this book. Because I've read this book probably about 3 or 4 times now. Anyways, I want to talk briefly about a couple other self-help books that I have read within the past year. So last year in June or July, August, sometime in the summertime, I read You're a Badass by Jen Sincero, and that book was life-changing for me. Truly, it showed me that you can look at life in so many different perspectives, and every single your view on the world is based on your own internal thoughts about yourself, and your view of the world and the things happening around you is really based on how you choose to look at it. Because a lot of our thoughts, opinions, and views are a reflection of our own inner world and how we are feeling about ourselves, or how we're feeling about life, or how we were brought up, quote unquote. So I knew a lot of stuff already from that book, because I think in 2018 or 2019 I really got into mental health and well-being, and focusing a lot on doing the inner work. So a lot of people won't know this about me, but some people that have followed me since 2020 will know this. I used to keep journals since the time I was 12 until I was 19 or 20. I wrote journals every single year. I had probably about 14 or 15 different journals, and I decided to take it upon myself to reread through those journals and really reflect on who I was as a person throughout my life and how those things affected me. And I am very self-aware, so I know my good qualities, I know my bad qualities, and I know the things I struggle in, and I just don't know always how to take it upon me to fix those things. And I think that's pretty normal for everyone. We don't always have the tools to fix the things we struggle with. And so the first step to doing that or working on that was, rereading my journals, because that's from the time you're 12 years old to 20, that's basically a large majority of your life. And so you can pretty much see where you're struggling and what you went through, right there on paper. And so I did that, and I found out a lot about myself, but I felt like there were still things how do I fix these things? Where are the tools I needed? So I started reading self-help books just like this. And I found that they helped me a lot. This was the first ever self-help book that I read, The Happiness Equation, and it helped me a lot. So I felt like it was a perfect time to reread it and get a new thought process on it. But going back to what I was saying, so in the summertime, I read You're a Badass by Jen Sincero, and that focused a lot on self-help, self-realization, self-love, self-care, doing the best things for yourself, looking at the world around you in a different perspective, all those types of things. And then around the end of last year, I read Be You, which is another little quotes type of self-help book where it's very much so the same idea. This is also a very similar idea, but this is very, very, very different. So actually, as I was reading this, I realized that also last year I had read a different book by Neil Parashi, and it is called The Book of Awesome. I read that book, which this is so crazy to me because it's a full circle life moment. I didn't realize that they were the same author at all, of The Happiness Equation and The Book of Awesome. I had no idea, but these books were both sitting on my bookshelf for a very long time. The Book of Awesome I read for the very first time when I was in 6th grade, so I was 12 years old. I thought it was just a book about things that a silly author, or an author that was very goofy, thought was awesome. But as I was reading his Happiness Equation book, I realized that the real meaning behind the Book of Awesome is that each and every little thing in your life you can consider as awesome, as small, like the tiniest things you can consider awesome. And then it kind of made me think more into the fact of like every single thing that you look at. So your perspective, you get to choose if it's awesome or if it's, you get to just choose your perspective on whatever. And everything is a blessing and an opportunity, and each and every day is an opportunity to change your perspective and view the world around you in a different light, and be thankful and be grateful and really view it as a blessing. And so this book really opened my eyes up more to the fact of that. Not just that, but like, I am in this season of realizing a lot of things about myself. And while I'm like in this season of realizing all these things about myself, not really a lot of things, let me clarify. I am realizing that a lot of times in my life, I allowed fear to dictate and control how I wanted to show up in my friendships or my relationships or whatever it may be, any type of relationship really. And I don't want that to be the case. I want to be able to show up and communicate effectively and be a good friend and be a good partner and so on and so forth. But I also want to communicate for myself. Like, I deserve to be a good communicator for myself. And so because of me realizing this, I, made amends with a lot of people in my life that I felt like I hurt by not communicating in the way that I wanted to. And I think that's really important, but also, it's just showing me that, like, that's a blessing, and this is a blessing, and this is a blessing, and so on and so forth, that I get to show up as this person right now. So that's basically just some of the stuff that I learned from this self-help book, and it was the 6th book I think I read this year, and the 3rd book that I've read this month. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm so proud of myself, and it's just like making me more and more proud and like of the woman I'm becoming, and like how like amazing I truly am. I don't want to say that because it sounds cocky, and that's not what I mean, but like I'm just proud of like who I am becoming as a person. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really grateful and happy to see what, the universe, God, hands to me next, because I know that I'm going to be able to just keep jumping over these things that I know that I need to grow from, and also become a better person, because you deserve to be the best you for you.